What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my review for Survivor Season 48. And this is episode 12. So, of course, Mary was voted out in the previous episode. So now we are left with Shaheem, Mitch, Kyle, Camilla, Eva, and Joe. So, of course, as I've been saying before, I do not think that Kyle will be able to win this game if he goes to the end with Joe. And so, of course, this episode was extremely disappointing because Kyle just refuses to make any moves on Joe or Eva whatsoever. And it is what it is. So, anyways, let's just get to what really happened in this particular episode. So everyone's is happy with Mary being gone. Camilla is still trying to figure out, okay, so what's going to be the next move. So we get to the reward challenge, and the reward challenge is one of those challenges where they are on a slanted board, or a slap table or something of that nature, and they can only use use the knobs on the side of the table or the side of the board, and holding on to that with their hands, and for a couple of the rounds, for the first couple of rounds, they're able to use their legs as leverage as well. And so I do like this challenge, although I would hate to have to play it myself, but I do like this challenge. And it was interesting to me the fact that when Eva got eliminated for using her feet as leverage after she was told not to, Joe just kind of fell all by himself. Like, it seemed like he kind of just gave up just because Eva didn't win. I don't know. Anyways, maybe that happened, maybe that didn't happen. But Camilla was the first one out. And the last two standing were Shaheem and Kyle. And so Shaheem ends up winning the reward challenge, and the reward is that the winner will be going to the sanctuary where good things happen, and they will have burgers and fries and beers and wines and things of that nature, as well as sleeping at the sanctuary, with pillows and mattresses, I guess, all that good stuff. So Shaheem wins. And he picks Joe and Kyle to go on a reward with him. And Camilla's a little bit upset because she's like, well, why would you pick Joe if you know that he's really good at immunity challenges? And so, you'd want to weaken him and not make him stronger so that he could stay, because we want to make the move on Joe. So, anyways, and also the reward is that the recipients of the reward will receive letters from home, and of course that's really really important. I am a little disappointed, not a little, I'm very disappointed that they don't bring physical family members to the island, to meet up with their contestant family members that are there. I've always thought that that was a lot better, and I love to see the emotion of the contestants, the tribe members, when they see their family member come and support them. Of course, there is emotion when you see them reading the letters, but I just like it better when the family members are there in person. But anyway, so Shaheem is talking to Joe. They're trying to get a plan together. Then Shaheem is talking to Kyle, and Shaheem suggested to Kyle that, it's time for us to make a move. And his plan is to get Eva out. He feels as though if Eva's out, then that weakens Joe, and that makes it easier for the two of them to be able to move forward, because he feels like both he and Kyle are in the middle in some way, shape, or form. And I think that this is a great idea. And Kyle is not with going with this plan because he feels as though if Shaheem makes up this plan and we go along with it, then that would just look good for Shaheem, and that leaves me out to dry. So Kyle makes this plan to frame Shaheem against Joe, to see what happens with Joe and to see if it'll get a reaction out of Joe. Um, Here's my thing. Once again, Kyle seems to be hopelessly dedicated to Joe for some reason, and I do not. I mean, I guess I do understand because they've created a bond out there on the island, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to turn his back on Joe. And the thing is, I can respect that. However, at the same time, Kyle has to realize that if he makes it to the end with Joe, Joe is winning. Joe has the best chance of winning out of everyone who is still there. And if Kyle would just make a move on Joe, you know, that would give Kyle the best chance, I think, in my opinion, of winning at the end. No one will win against Joe. If Joe makes it to the final three, which I'm 90% sure he will, Joe is winning this game. And I fully expect to see Joe win this entire game. I'm calling it right now. Um, but Kyle wants to frame Shaheem against Joe and see how that would shake Joe up. And he thinks that getting Shaheem out would be a big move on his part, which I guess I can agree with that. Who knows? Maybe that might convince the jury to give the $1 million to Kyle if he makes it to the final three. Who knows? But I just understand that Kyle didn't want to go along with the plan that Shaheem made because it wasn't Kyle's plan. It was Shaheem's plan. And he didn't want Shaheem to get the upper hand. He didn't want Shaheem to get a little bit closer to the end, I guess. But anyways, we get to the immunity challenge. I love the immunity challenge. Although it was kind of hard to understand the snake maze at the end, but those type of mazes where they have the ball on top of like a miniature table that you have to put through a maze or whatever the case may be. But anyways, so of course Joe ends up winning immunity, and Kyle, after the immunity challenge, tells Joe what Shaheem's plan is, and he adds on a little bit of a bit of a fib that Shaheem has an idol and that he showed it to Camilla. And so Kyle tells this plan to Camilla. And so Joe approaches Camilla about this whole story that Kyle has fed to him. And Camilla is, backing it up all the way through. And I don't know why they had to add in the lie that Shaheem had an idol. I don't get that whatsoever, but the other option for these guys for this next vote is going to be Mitch. And as I stated in my previous review, I would hate to be a Survivor player and be in Mitch's shoes because Mitch has no alliances. He has no one, absolutely no one who wants to work with him whatsoever. He's just out there on an island by himself. He's just like he's a true survivor. Um, I don't know if I don't know. I just so feel so bad for Mitch because you have no control over who wants to work with you and who doesn't want to work with you. So it is what it is. But anyways, so again, I'm very disappointed that Kyle didn't just go along with the plan to get Eva out because if Kyle had agreed to that plan and we'd gotten Eva out, it would have been at least a little bit more interesting for the finale. The finale comes on next week, and it would be more entertaining. And maybe if Eva was gone, I know that will probably encourage Joe to do the best that he can to win. However, I think it might affect him a little bit, and maybe he won't be as focused on the immunity challenges going down the line. But anyways, so we get to the tribal council, and Shaheem ends up heffing on home, as Alexander Rogers would say. And the first thing I said after he was eliminated was this was so unnecessary. This does not have to happen this way. I was really wishing that Kyle would have gone with Shaheem's plan to get Eva out. I think that would have been amazing to see. But once again, Kyle is just dedicated to Joe, and he's literally handing Joe $1 million. He's literally handing Joe $1 million, and it is. I'm wondering if Kyle understands that that's what he's doing. I wonder if Kyle thinks that he actually has a chance against Joe at the end, or he just doesn't know or doesn't care whether he has a chance against Joe because Joe is his biggest alliance. And Joe has somewhat protected him along the way, especially in the week that David was voted out. That he's going to return the favor and never turn on Joe, and I don't expect for Kyle to turn on Joe. So it is what it is. The finale is next week. Again, I'm still rooting for Kyle to win, but I do not expect Kyle to win because I know if Joe gets to the end with him, is not going to work. But we'll see what happens. I'm sort of kind of expecting the final three to be Joe, Eva, and Kyle. I'm hoping that Camilla gets in there. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Make sure you click the thumbs up button. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the fact that Kyle refuses to turn his back on Joe? What are your thoughts on Shaheem's plan to get Eva out? What are your thoughts on who you think might make it to the end? Who do you want to win? Who do you expect to win? Tell me down in the comments. Be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Make sure you guys join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. We talk about the hottest topics that are going on in the world. We have a whole lot of fun, so make sure you guys join me for that. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.